Let's talk about weapons, specifically how Gladys is. I have so many thoughts and feelings on this movie, and I have not stopped thinking about it since I watched it. It is an incredible take on the pitfalls of society and the way that they lead to death and violence. And each character represents a different type of person that we're taught from a young age is supposed to protect us and keep us safe. Parents, teachers, law enforcement, if you're white. Every character is so crucial in the breakdown of society that I'm going to break up this analysis character by character the way that Zach Kreger does. When we're kids, the only adults that we see more than our parents are our teachers. They're meant to teach us, but also to protect us. And we're supposed to feel safe with them and learn from them and look up to them as a kind of role model. Justine is a perfect starting chapter for this film, not only because it's her class that goes missing, but also because what we see of her and what the kids see on a daily basis does not necessarily match what's underneath as we go further into her character throughout the chapter. We know, presumably, based on the little girl's voiceover in the beginning, that Justine had nothing to do with these kids going missing. It just so happened to be her class that was affected. But the parents are ready to go on a witch hunt and burn her at the stake as being the sole person responsible. After we get an idea of what Justine is up against at this PTA meeting, we follow her down a rabbit hole of bad decisions. We learn about her drinking problems, her messy love life, and her inability to stop beating a dead horse. None of those things means she deserves the town's blame and hatred, but it does show us that this pristine protector and educator persona that we put on teachers has cracks and flaws. Justine has been in trouble at this job before, but it was number one, to console a crying child, and number two, to give a child a ride home because they missed their bus and she didn't want them walking home alone with no adult supervision. In other words, the times that she was protecting and caring for these kids and keeping them safe, the school system punished her for. So, as it turned out, teachers are human beings that make mistakes, but also that the school system is more concerned with the perception of the school and the perception of what's safe than actually protecting the kids. So, if our teachers can't protect us, who can? Our parents are supposed to be our number one protectors, though some of us may have had different experiences. Please bear with my generalizations here. Archer is the parent of one of the children who went missing, and too little too late, he has gone into overdrive on the alpha male protector persona that society puts on men. And we learn in a dream sequence, not shockingly, that Archer doesn't tell his son he loves him enough. The sequence ends before Archer even finishes telling Matthew that he loves him, emphasizing the too little too lateness of Archer's actions, because our parents are supposed to nurture and love and protect us, but Archer realized he was falling flat in that situation too late, and now his son is gone. So if our parents can't protect us, who can? This section truly only applies if you're white, which the director is. So that is the perspective we're going to be going with in this section. To serve and protect is the motto of every police department. When we first meet Paul, it is in Justine's chapter, and he is the caring friend trying to help her. This is debunked almost immediately in his chapter because we see that he is also in the midst of spiraling and crashing out himself and is at the end of the day just using Justine. Like Justine, what we see on the surface when we meet Paul is not what's underneath. It is comical watching Paul chase down James and repeatedly ask if he's okay as he's kneeling on him face down on the ground. But all it takes is one mistake from James for Paul to flip the switch and become violent, which, to be fair, getting stuck by a dirty needle is a worst nightmare scenario, but that doesn't justify Paul's actions, and I don't think James is being malicious. I truly think James just has so much going on in his head. How is he to note that there's a dirty needle in his pocket? That's not, it's not the front of his mind. Once this facade breaks, Paul crumbles and spirals out of control, and he even goes and has sex with Justine after potentially contracting contracting con potentially getting AIDS and puts her in danger. Then the next time he sees James, he's gonna chase him down and kill him? Question mark. So instead of protecting anyone other than himself, he puts Justine and James both in danger. So if the people who vowed to serve and protect us can't protect us, who can? Okay, James is not meant to protect anyone. James is here to show us another result of the pitfalls of society, which is drug addiction or any addiction. It isn't stated what age James is, but my guess is around 18. And that means that James grew up in this society that we've already seen so many failures from, with parents, teachers, and law enforcement. And he didn't run away or get abducted, but he did find himself in danger with nowhere to go and no one to help him. Society chews us up and spits us out at 18 and then blames us for whatever happens next. In theory, it would be Paul's job to help and protect James, to get him off the street, to get him to rehab, to help him get out of this dangerous situation that he is in. But instead, Paul blames all of his failures and shortcomings on James and puts him in a more dangerous situation. James is the first person to find the kids, but because of the cutthroat capitalist society that we're in, that information is not valuable to him until he can get paid for it. Because otherwise, he is in a self preservation fight or flight mode because no one else has been helping him or protecting him. So now he's at the point where he is down this awful, dangerous rabbit hole, and that is the only thing he can think about. So seeing James as the result of growing up in this society without protectors, are there any good people we can turn to? Marcus and his husband are the two most likable people in the movie. Marcus is the school principal. The well-being of the students is his job. It's all the school staff's job, but it is his job most of all. But is he maybe too nice and understanding? Justine repeatedly goes against his wishes and ignores everything that he tells her to do or not to do. And then he repeatedly forgives her for it. The parents during the PTA meeting are rowdy and unruly, and he does nothing to reprimand them. Instead, he gives them exactly what they want, which is Justine taking the stage and explaining herself, which just angers them further. And then he and his husband are too polite to stop Gladys from coming into their home, which ends up being his downfall. I think Marcus is here to show us a different extreme on this spectrum of blame that we have going on, because while the other characters are too self involved and neglectful, Marcus is too polite and a bit of a pushover, which in and of itself is self involved and neglectful. Inaction is as harmful as cruelty. You may not be the murderer, but if you do nothing to stop the murderer, you're an accomplice to the murder. Marcus wants to please everyone, so he doesn't draw any lines in the sand, which then just enables everyone's bad behavior. A friend to all is a friend to none. Marcus does share the blame for the societal issues that lead to these children going missing. I hate to say that because he's so likable, but him being so likable is the problem. He spends so much energy trying not to rock the boat and not to ruffle feathers and not to take any action that could upset someone else, which then leads him into the lion's den where someone else is forcing him to take action. And the action that he takes is the most gruesome, heartbreaking murder of his husband. I know technically this section should be called Alex because I've been following the film's narrative structure, but I've been analyzing the way that these characters and the structure shows the pitfalls of society, and Alex is just a victim of that. Gladys is that. Gladys is our villain. She's the cause of the children going missing. She's the cause of Marcus killing his husband and attempting to kill Justine. And to me, to me, she is a paranormal being imitating an old woman, but I guess we'll have to wait for her origin film to see if I'm right. All horror films, whether it is consciously or subconsciously, incorporate something in our world today that we're scared of. And an American director in 2025 could be scared of so many things, but almost every bad and corrupt thing in our society today can point like a triangle to one man with a bad wig and ugly makeup, a man who brainwashes people, and it almost feels like witchcraft. A man who, at the drop of a hat or the snap of a twig, can cause an insurrection. A man who likes to pit us against each other and use people like weapons against whoever he deems a threat. Zach Kreger has talked about how the dynamic in Alex's household before and after Gladys is inspired by his experience growing up with an alcoholic parent and the way that addiction can change a family household instantaneously and cause a role reversal between parent and child. Zach Kreger has also talked about how important it is to him that an audience interprets a film however they do regardless of his interpretation. And I have seen that same role reversal in my friends and their parents who support the ugly wig man. Before he came into power, there was always political discourse. But after he came into power, everything was one extreme or the other. There was no more conversation, there was only anger and blame. I have seen my friends have to teach their parents basic human decency and kindness and empathy for others, like they're supposed to teach us when we're growing up. The way that Alex now has to feed his parents and clean the house and take care of himself, all because Gladys came into power. This film is structured to show us how broken our society is, how unreliable our protectors are, and how that all culminates together to lead us to a society that can easily be infested by monsters who weaponize us and turn us against each other. Not one single person is to blame, everyone has a part in leading us to where we are now. But all hope is not lost because some kids even started talking again this year.